Arsenal lining up with, we suspect, Mariner and Woodcock as the out-and-out front men, and Charlie Nicholas likely to fill some sort of role behind them, from what Don Howe was saying in the week. And certainly three front men in the mould of Mariner, Woodcock and Nicholas could go a long way to better. There's one man who feels he's got something to prove this afternoon, George Riley, scorer of the Watford equalising goal against Queen's Park Rangers in midweek. And Mo Johnston also anxious to impress with the Scottish squad to be announced this week for the international against Yugoslavia on Wednesday week. And so it's Arsenal playing from right to left, attacking the Vicarage Road end goal in the first half, and prepare to get us underway. Arsenal in red shirts with white sleeves and white shorts, and Watford of course in yellow shirts. Robson up for Arsenal. Woodcock finds Robson again. Was meant for Mariner. Riley. Woodcock, doubtless hoping to be in Bobby Robson's squad. Here's Nicholas for Arsenal. Paul Davis, man who bore some criticism for Arsenal's failure to win their first two matches. Nicholas once more. Robson, Talbot, Mariner, now Woodcock, and Steve Terry back for Watford, and Bardsley. First touch for Mo Johnston. Sanson hasn't happy memories of his last visit to this ground when he was completely run ragged by Callaghan. Talbot for Arsenal, nice control, looking for Mariner, but the long back pass for the goalkeeper. Callaghan finds Bardsley. That's for Johnston to chase, but Tommy Caton's across. And a goal kick. Bardsley. Riley in a bit of space, now Callaghan. Will he cut inside them? Sanson really closing him down, but he's still found Riley. It's remarkable close control for a big man. Les Taylor for Callaghan, a chance now to put one across, looking for Johnston. And it was well worked into the Scots, but Johnston's header not with any power or direction. Terry. Johnston looking for Barnes, but Brian Talbot there first for Arsenal. Watford very anxious in these early minutes to try and dominate it, but not being allowed to settle at all by Arsenal. Here's Les Taylor. Talbot first. Sinnott for Watford. And certainly one of the most interesting tussles of the afternoon, bound to be the one between John Barnes of Watford and Viv Anderson. Here's another looping long throw from Sinnott. Look at the direction on that. Riley was up, and the corner is the result for Watford. Barnes knocked it on. Rostron, will it fall for Johnston? No, it won't. But Talbot had to see it out. And another corner for the home side. Barnsley perhaps can start something going, but a bit hard for Callaghan. Sanson then with the Arsenal throw. But the referee not happy. Caton short, in field is O'Leary. And he's only found Lee Sinnott for Watford, but now Nicholas for Arsenal. Got players forward in Woodcock and Mariner. Arriving like an express outside him is Sanson. Here's Sanson's cross. And it was played right in for Talbot. And he got himself well positioned. Just couldn't quite get the direction on the header. O'Leary finds Robson. Barnes finding absolutely nowhere to go with Viv Anderson sticking absolutely close to him. And he surely will be told to go back by Mr. Nat Fine. Yes, indeed. Ryan Talbot leaving a few yards at the throat. Stuart Robson the only player near him. And Rostron forced to concede another one a few yards further forward. Talbot, now Stuart Robson. Looking for Nicholas, but Bardsley was there for Watford. Johnston, Riley arriving fast at the edge of the box. Callaghan's also inside him. And that's an interesting curling ball, but not quite with the accuracy George Riley wanted. Taylor and Jacket in midfield, but Nicholas there for Arsenal. Nice control by the Scottish international. Interesting battle this afternoon between him and Mo Johnston, but now Mariner for Arsenal. What sort of a cross can he provide? An interesting one as well. But nobody there to close in on Steve Sherwood's goal line. It's a match that promises a great deal. Nicholas versus Johnston. Battle of the Scots. Barnes versus Anderson. Tremendously intriguing in its possibilities. Woodcock. Now Taylor for Watford, but good tackle from Davis. Woodcock for Nicholas. Woodcock's gone on a forward run, so's Mariner, and it was Lee Sinnott's foot that stuck out to knock the ball wide. Now Robson, he's left it, and Steve Sherwood catches well. It was Charlie Nicholas' shot in the end. Steve Sherwood saw it coming though. Here's Callaghan for Watford, trying to get the home side going forward. They haven't really tested Jennings so far. Now can Taylor Pye and put one in? Paul Davis away though for Arsenal. Rostron for Johnston, across goes David O'Leary. And this veteran Irish international Really very hard to get round at the back for Arsenal. Here's Talbot going forward. Nicholas short. That's Mariners. Who's coming in? It's Nicholas. The Watford defence haven't really picked up so far, and now Bardsley perhaps can come away for Watford, only for Davis though. Davis, Nicholas to his right. Talbot on a forward run. Here's Nicholas. And the foot of Rostron was enough. Riley aimed for Johnston once more. Now can Riley and Barnes get on this? No, they can't. Again it was well worked, and Sanson this time the player covering. All the way back to Pat Jennings, who after a marvellous career, it's difficult to remember that in fact he started at Watford. And here's the current holder of the Watford number 1 jersey, Steve Sherwood. Taylor. Terry. Davis for Arsenal. Woodcock in a bit of space for Nicholas, and Woodcock again going chasing down the flank. That's nice. Can it go for Talbot? No, it can't, but Steve Terry having to play the ball behind. And that brings life once more to the Arsenal contingent. Only Woodcock's cross just not quite right for Brian Talbot. Nicholas, and one perhaps ought to have seen him close down sooner. Arsenal very much on top in these early stages. Watford will want to keep on battling, but above all to try and settle it down a bit. They haven't really tested Jennings' assault, whereas there have been a couple of fairly serious assaults on Steve Sherwood's goal. Here's Davis again for Arsenal. Not much going right between Mariner and Woodcock up front. The penetrating runs coming from midfield. Johnston. For Callahan, and I think his foot was up. Yes, it was. Free kick, says Gilbert Knapfine. David O'Leary with it. Mariner, nice 1-2 with Woodcock. And coming in, Charlie Nicholas with Will Rostron. And it's the corner that's conceded. It's Brian Talbot rather than Nicholas. Riley helping his defence out. Can Robson get one in? No, he can't, but it went off a Watford defender. And so more pressure on that Watford goal. Arsenal pushing players forward. Viv Anderson in the 6-yard box, Tony Woodcock as well, plus Tommy Caton. Nicholas trying to get inside jacket, and away by Bardsley. Talbot perhaps can put more pressure on. Surely he can, but now Watford can break with Taylor. Lee Sinnott arriving from the back outside him, now for Les Taylor. Chance to knock one in perhaps, but not quite getting the run of it. And Sanson, the player covering. Mariner. Still Mariner. Bardsley's tackle really does look a very promising young player, the Watford right back. The more games he gets under his belt, the more experience he gets, the better he's surely going to get. Here's Johnston's cross, that's dangerous. Here's Barnes going in. And finally hooked away by O'Leary. Talbot across, and it'll be a Watford throw. With Barnes, who came in, doesn't perhaps have the height of Blissett and the aerial penetration of the Watford summer recruit, but nonetheless got himself into a good position. Another monster throw from Sinnott. Barnes got up well. Left a bit of pushing and shoving in the box. And we've played for a quarter of an hour. And a blank score sheet. But you have to say that the visitors are ahead on points thus far. Now Davis. Now another chasing player, but Steve Terry wins that one. And rather a wasteful ball. Robson for Talbot. Davis inside him, so's Robson. Nicholas coming close. It was aimed for Woodcock, but it didn't get anywhere near him. Callaghan for Watford against him. And here's Sanson. Forward for Talbot, but Rostron getting it away. Downfield for Riley, but nobody forward of him at all. The man being treated by Roy Johnson. Don Howe sitting on the bench. Graham Taylor deciding to watch at least the opening exchanges from the director's box. Davis in on Callaghan. Here's Les Taylor for Watford. Jacket for Johnston. Jacket. Riley is the player chasing, but Jennings is there first. That's an intelligent throw for Davis. Now a chance for Woodcock to chase, but Sinnott reading it well. And Viv Anderson concedes the corner. So once again, all the big men up for Watford. Riley near post. Barnes, edge of the 6-yard box. Les Taylor going up. Steve Terry, edge of the 18-yard box. No doubt ready to run in. Mo Johnston on the far post. Sorts of pushing and shoving going on. Nothing given by the referee. Here's Callaghan again. He'll get this time in a turning cross. He can. Terry will head it back, but over. Didn't quite give himself enough space, Steve Terry. Taylor into the space for Mo Johnston to chase, but too long again. Watford midfield too, really I think with their hands full this afternoon. Here's Rostron, forward for Riley. Callaghan. And away come Arsenal with Nicholas, but only for Rostron. One to chase for George Riley. Barnes. Now can he get the cross in? He can, but nobody there at the far post. and the danger averted. And if either Riley or Johnston had been there, that would have been a real chance for Watford. Sanson, long ball for Nicholas. Anderson going forward, so too is Robson. Woodcock and Mariner are a long way forward. That was Woodcock's. Davis, Mariner, Sanson. Consistent pressure on that Watford goal. But Sherwood claimed it well. Caton for Arsenal. Callaghan for Mo Johnston now in a bit of space. What will he do with this one? Caton's coming to close him down. And he's got his cross in and nobody there once again to put the touch. Rostron. Barnes. And the flag is up on the far side. Because it came off the hand, and that will be a Watford free kick in a dangerous position. Steve Terry goes forward once more. A couple of chances in the last couple of minutes coming Watford's way. They just haven't quite managed to get players in the right place. Just the breaks not quite coming their way. As we approach the end of the first quarter. Callaghan's free kick. And the wall did its job. Here's Nicholas. And Sinnott didn't have to overexert himself to claim it. Flag up against Johnston anyway. Bardsley. Oh, and a dreadful misunderstanding, but fortunately Sinnott was able to get it back to the keeper as Nicholas looked as though he had a chance. Here's Caton for Arsenal. Les Taylor. Mariner. Down the line is Talbot on a forward run, and he's got past Les Taylor. There might be something on here for Arsenal. But the referee's whistle had gone. Took the linesman's flag. It'll be an Arsenal throw. Is Sanson. Woodcock finds Nicholas. Really seems to be thriving on this role he's got behind the front two. Woodcock, Nicholas again. And Talbot thinks he was pushed to the ground. Mr. Napthine doesn't want to know, and here's Rostron for Watford. Arms outside him. Les Taylor square. George Riley trying to get himself into an advantageous position inside the box. Barnes trying to let one go, but Jennings equal to it again. Man's experience really so evident, knowing exactly where to position himself. Taylor, Callaghan, Riley on for Johnston. Might come for Callaghan again, and does. But Anderson there before Barnes. There's Taylor. And Anderson did it well against the challenge of Riley. Forward for Tony Woodcock, who used his hand to control it, says the linesman. And a fairly heavy challenge between Caton and Riley, but Mr. Napthine gives no foul. Slight clattering of legs between the two of them. But Arsenal have the throw with Sanson. Nicholas. Mariner. Nicholas again. Now Tony Woodcock. Here's Brian Talbot. His runs from the back have been quite dangerous. Mariner teeing up, a chance for Woodcock. Rostron in first to clear. He, of course, an ex-Arsenal player, so anxious to do well this afternoon. But there's more pressure indeed on that Watford defence. Lee Sinnott, the man who can finally clear it. Now Riley can chase against David O'Leary. But the Arsenal defender was always winning that one. And Steve Terry back to his goalkeeper. Woodcock, he finds Talbot. Anderson. Talbot goes forward again. This is really one of the secrets for Arsenal so far. Getting the players forward. Callaghan away for Watford, for Johnston, but Riley's got David O'Leary to compete with, and at the moment the Arsenal defender's winning it quite comfortably. And a foul by Callaghan on Sanson will give another free kick to the Gunners. Terry snuffs the danger out for Watford. Barnes, will he finally get round Anderson? He will. And that's one which was aimed for Riley, but he was never onto it. You get a feeling that the longer the game goes on, the more Arsenal feel as though they're in control, even if they've nothing to prove through it by way of goals. Now Woodcock. Mariner inside him. Nicholas. Oh, and Sinnott's shoulder really left for dead, and Bardsley has to come across. And that was a marvellous way. Poor Lee Sinnott didn't quite know what he was looking at. Nicholas completely sold him a dummy. And Bardsley's off the line clearance saves Watford again. Robson. Anderson up with it. Caton's header away once more by Bardsley. Twice his positionings helped his defence out. Now a chance perhaps for Nicholas, and he scores. And the pressure finally brings its reward. And the big Scot, who missed a penalty in midweek at Nottingham Forest, puts Arsenal in front. 27 minutes gone. And on the balance of play, they're deservedly in the lead. So just as they did in midweek, Watford have now got to come from behind. Here's Barnes. And Nicholas again. Really having an excellent game so far. Woodcock. And it's Sanson this time who came from the back. And Lee Sinnott's the man whose header saved the day, but in fact the referee says goal kick. And without doubt the Watford defence is having its most thorough examination so far this season. How will it react? Davis. Arsenal can go forward again, and do. Now Woodcock. Mariner. Steve Terry away. And Johnston does well to turn O'Leary. Les Taylor. Square to Rostron. Barnes going outside him. Les Taylor is forward. Callaghan far side. Here's Callaghan now. And he goes down. And I think he gets himself a free kick. Yes, indeed. Mr. Napthine says that it's a free kick to Watford, and that will give you some indication that it was no more than a yard away from being a penalty, and an ideal chance for the equalising strike. But now they've pushed players forward. Here's John Barnes with it, and Jennings doesn't have to make the save, but Arsenal do concede the corner. Really, having gone a goal down, it's an ideal chance. They really want to get back to Watford now. Perhaps this might give them a chance to do so. Riley and Johnston on the goal line. Les Taylor also 6-yard box. Barnes near post, and that's Riley who got up with it. Johnston got up, but his header was misdirected, and Jennings watches with some relief. As they say about Graham Taylor's side, they're never more dangerous than when they're behind, and a couple of chances straight away then which they haven't been able to take. Hayton got up for Arsenal. Jacket looking for Barnes, but again Anderson so close to him, and this time he resorts to a little bit of hands, knees and something else, and concedes the free kick. Jacket over it, but is he going to leave it? I suspect he might, for Callaghan. That right foot of his has tremendous power on it, and once again the big men going forward. And once again Jennings saves with ease. Mariner on for Woodcock, but he was some way offside, but the referee will play the advantage with Sherwood in possession. O'Leary finds Mariner. Here's Talbot going forward for Charlie Nicholas. Robson going inside him, Talbot outside him, Sanson square, Davis in the outside left position. Sanson might see somebody up. Here's Mariner trying to get in. Woodcock's behind him. He comes towards Sanson. Barnes away, only for Davis. And Sherwood gets down, but Woodcock makes him pay for not holding it. It was Davis who blasted it. Woodcock making Steve Sherwood pay because he couldn't hold it. Tony Woodcock makes it look pretty safe at 2-0, with still some 12 minutes of the half left. And you have to say the Gunners well in control. Mariners come a long way back, try and get them going forward again. Anderson for Talbot, Anderson going down the flank. More danger on the Watford defence. Woodcock, and Sherwood does well. But in fact it was a goal kick, says the referee, because he's given it Watford's way. But once again there one saw the danger signs with Anderson breaking from the back, and Woodcock very nearly getting a chance to make it 3. There's Taylor in with Paul Davis, and wins the free kick for Watford. And Riley fouls Caton. And you do sense that for Watford to have a realistic chance, they've got to get at least one of these back by the break. So there's 10 minutes for them to do so. Barnsley, Callahan again losing control. And it was Talbot who again broke through, and again he was seen by Sanson at the throw. Robson. Aim for Mariner, but Steve Terry did well. Riley was up against Paul Davis, and Davis wins it possession. Caton. Barnsley with the throw in. Callahan looking for Riley, and Riley wins himself a free kick. Whatever the home side may feel from a partisan point of view, certainly been a good first half to watch. Here's Barnes with a free kick. And as he found Riley, he has, and Jennings, oh, did ever so well. The big fella down in a flash. Taylor. Another free kick going the way of the home side. Rostron for Barnes. Anderson so close to the England winger. Riley. Not few options, if any. It does well. Jacket. And too close to Brian Talbot as he meant to find Riley. Terry's tackle, good and firm. And finally it's Nicholas who's forced to play it out. Jacket. And another free kick. Bardsley. This is probably his first real sortie of the half. And he got round O'Leary's challenge to win them a corner. It was Riley who got up. Can Barnes get it in? Jennings watches. It goes off the upright. Goes off the post, but it went behind, and it was Barnes who was the Watford player trying to force it in. Got a couple of efforts, but not quite hard and strong enough. Sanson. Nicholas again. of Rostron with that throw for Watford as we move into the last 5 minutes of the first half. We've seen Arsenal fairly clearly on top. 2 goals to the good, but Watford continue to battle forward. They really do need, though, one thinks, to get at least one back before the break. Perhaps a few words from the boss at half-time, if they don't, might do the trick, but they do win themselves another free kick. Callahan with it. Away by Talbot. Bardsley will try one. And he still tells me about the only goal he's ever scored at first team level, Dave Bardsley. Scored it against Walsall for Blackpool against a fella called Lee Sinnott. Woodcock finds Nicholas. Now, can Arsenal really make it safe before the break? Nicholas might try to. Robson. Jacket the man, keeping absolutely close to him. And Watford again breathe a sigh of relief. Nicholas. Robson. And Rostron in, but Robson again. And they concede the corner. And he got up well. It was Rostron off the line this time for Mariner. And that's twice Watford have found themselves in real trouble, as well as conceding the 2 goals. Taylor and Sinnott right back. Terry moving to the edge of the 6-yard box. Sinnott the man who's marking Caton. Here's Paul Davis for Arsenal. Sanson. Davis again. Aim for Mariner. Away by Sinnott. And finally Robson it is who tries to get Caton going again. Nicholas. He's so hard with his close control. Mariner. And Nicholas again, he's everywhere. And it's Wolf Rostron to boot it and waste a few more seconds as the half-time whistle approaches. Riley. Now can Callahan get Watford going for one last surge of the half? Looking for Barnes, but it really didn't look as though it was going to get anywhere near him. He forced Jennings to come right to the edge of his box, but good at calling with his centre half. And they understand each other, these two. They've played together so many times. Barnes against Nicholas. Barnes again. Rostron going outside him. Got a couple of players infield if he wants them. Sinnott, long one forward, but Johnston not going to get that. And we have just 30 seconds. to half-time, plus just a little bit of stoppage time for the one injury to Mariner. Not very much of that, I shouldn't have thought. And Riley pushing and shoving against Caton, says the linesman. As we now do move into the time that Gilbert Napthine has docked for injuries and the odd stoppage. I wouldn't have thought there's more than at the most about 30 or 45 seconds of it. I suspect the Arsenal players know that as well, and they'll go off at half-time well satisfied with their endeavours. Robson, and he finds Woodcock. Surely Watford don't want to concede a third now. Davis with the shot. Referee's taken signals from both his linesmen, and so we are surely playing out the final seconds of the first half. Indeed we are. There goes the whistle from Gilbert Napthine. A very satisfying first half for Arsenal. They lead Watford at Vicarage Road by 2-0. Here they come for the second half. One suspects it's a bit early for Graham Taylor to gamble and put on Luther Blissett. Certainly if he did so, I wouldn't have expected him to take any of the other forwards off. The attendance we hear, just over 21,000. And having a look round, no substitutes from either side. So it's Watford, the side with it all to do then. Arsenal 2 goals to the good at half-time. And this time Watford will attack the Vicarage Road end goal. Gilbert Napthine being absolutely precise, making absolutely certain everything is in order. It is now, and away we go for the second half of Watford against Arsenal. Watford 0, Arsenal 2 then the half-time score. And Watford desperately looking to salvage something, because it's one thing to lose a game this early in the season and quite another to lose heavily. Does the goal difference no good at all. Here's Sanson then with the Arsenal throw. Lee Sinnott using his arms unfairly, says the referee. And absolutely essential for Watford that they go forward from the start of this second half. Because if they're pegged back again, one has a feeling that Arsenal could go and get more goals. It's a long one forward, Sinnott the man clearing it for Watford. Now Callaghan and Riley. Caton first again to the ball for Arsenal, and the flag up against Paul Mariner. Bardsley's free kick. Here's Rostron. Here's Callaghan rather. And O'Leary coming across. One has to say it, he's something of a veteran in the side these days, David O'Leary. Here's Lee Sinnott. Nicholas finds Davis. Arsenal want to clear this one quick. Nicholas. And a long one forward, but into no man's land. Callahan up, looking for Johnston, but it was off Sanson, so it's Watford's. Bardsley, and Les Taylor, back to the young right back. Barnes. Will Jackett get there? No. Rostron might. Barnes. Jackett. That's a great strike, and O'Leary has put it in his own net. It was Jackett's strike. And David O'Leary could only put it in his own goal. As he tried to it clear as Jackett hit the post. And that is the perfect start to Watford's second half, because their first attacks put them back to 2-1. So what will Arsenal do now? For a moment one suspects they feel just a little bit jolted by that. Talbot aimed for Mariner, Steve Terry across. But if you can't get a goal back just before the break, there's no better time to do it than in your first attack afterwards. That's just what Watford have done. And suddenly, I suspect it's slightly uneasy feeling in the Arsenal camp. And immediately they win a corner off Rostron. Nicholas again, the man that's getting it in. Jackett's clearance. Well, Watford suffered from a fit of own goalitis themselves at the start of last season, so I suppose one from an opposition player wasn't overdue. Steve Sherwood got another chance to get them forward anyway. Rostron bringing a quick 1-2 with his goalkeeper. Bardsley beating Mariner to the ball. It was aimed, I think, for Mo Johnston. Arsenal winners of an FA Cup tie quarter-final stage a few years ago at Vicarage Road in front of 28,000 people by 2-1. And then they had a guy playing for them by the name of Frank Stapleton, who of course went on to score a hat-trick against him last season in the Football League. Here's Sanson again, trying to get Arsenal going forward. Robson, the man coming in. Les Taylor away. Bardsley. Clearance actually was by Kenny Jackett. Now that Don Howe, the Arsenal manager, watched the Watford game in midweek, suspect he learned a few things from it. Now Bardsley, can he get Watford going forward again? Looking for Riley, who wins the throw. Or does he in fact win a free kick? It's a free kick, says the referee, pointing to his linesman to get him to look at the line. Will it be Barnes or will it be Bardsley? It'll be Barnes. It'll be Riley's head, and it'll be Johnston to square it at 2-2. And that's a marvellous 1-2 by the two central strikers. And incredibly, 7 minutes into the second half, Watford are level. And that has really shaken Arsenal. And I wonder what they had in the tea at half-time in the Watford dressing room. So Arsenal, who thought they were safe 2 up at half-time, now may have to do it all over again if they're going to get the points. Watford, of course, have other ideas. What an absorbing scrap this has turned out to be. And the crowd also with their part to play. On for Mariner, but Sinnott and Rostron and Terry between them doing the clearing. Here's Barnes. Riley. Got that little bit of space he perhaps didn't have in the first half. Jacket in support. It was his left-footed effort that started it all. Here's Barnes going down the line, but Tommy Caton to dwell. And Jacket just not quite able to get the throw off the Arsenal man. Woodcock. Davis. Nicholas is short inside him if he wants him, but Sanson on the overlap and Bardsley the man who charged it down. Corner once more then. And so from pressure on the Arsenal goal, suddenly the pressure switches again to the other end. Talbot. Way by Terry. Nicholas for Talbot again. And he's got round Johnston's challenge. Cross could cause problems here. Bardsley back. And away. Well, I would have thought there's already enough incident in this game to write a very large article indeed. And one wonders what the next 35 minutes have in store. Robson and Les Taylor for Watford away. Here's Riley. Barnes got a bit of space now. Riley wide outside him. Mo Johnston coming square. Here's Riley. And he might have something on here if he can get in a decent cross. And in the end, perhaps he tried to go a stage too far on his own. Talbot for Charlie Nicholas. Mariner is off on a chase against Steve Terry. Mariner is through and Steve Sherwood comes out and dives bravely at the England striker's feet. It wasn't an easy one and Sherwood did well. Taylor for Callaghan. Bardsley. Riley and Callaghan again. Here's Johnston coming in, but it was two here, Jennings. And suddenly you sense that it's Watford who are on the up and Arsenal feeling the pressure somewhat. Talbot. And it won't reach Nicholas at all, it was always Sherwood's. Callaghan up, and does one suspect, so just a slight easing off in Arsenal's minds since half-time, feeling they'd done the job. And they've got to start all over again if they think they are going to do it. Here's Bardsley. And away, downfield for Mariner. Now Nicholas. Talbot. That's on for Woodcock, who is surely offside. Yes, indeed, he is. Now Sanson to that one before Riley. Here's David O'Leary. Ken Sanson, now widely regarded as the best left back in the country and certainly a regular of England squads for some time past. Has he been with Arsenal since August 1980, and he's won himself a total of 44 caps for his country. And here is a free kick, which I suspect he will take himself. He will, but only short for Nicholas. Now what will the Scot do with this? Les Taylor, the man close, he went for the shot. But didn't quite in the end get it where he wanted it. Riley up, Davis. On for Steve Terry to chase against Woodcock. And the goalkeepers. Now Bardsley. Might be onto something if he can find Johnston on a run forward. And he can. Riley to chase. And he came, I think, from an offside position. Jacket for Barnes to chase against Anderson. Here's Talbot. And that again was aimed for Mariner, and Steve Terry stuck so close to him in the second half. He's really had no change. Bardsley. I think it was Sir Mo Johnston he wanted, but it was somewhat misdirected. Mariner. Talbot. On for Stuart Robson, who's joined the attack. That's a menacing cross, and Terry did well to get there before Mariner. Now Les Taylor. What can he do with this one? And he looked for Mo Johnston, and I thought for a minute he'd found him. So to which Nicholas for Arsenal. It's end-to-end stuff, this. Fascinating to watch. Jacket, the challenge. Robson. Forward for Woodcock again. Robson wants it played forward for him. He gets it played forward for him. He tries the shot, and Terry is the man who clears. Number 8, Davis, back to Sanson once more. Bardsley got in there first and did well. Now a real chance, because Sanson only knocked it into the path of Johnston. He's got Riley forward as well. Can Johnston go all the way? Caton coming across, he might do, and Riley scores! But the linesman was flagging. And bitter disappointment for Watford. They thought they'd come back and taken it. But George Riley's goal counted out. A brilliant sprint by Johnston, but it all counts for naught in the end. But they still have got chance. Here's Les Taylor going forward. Sanson in first. A tigerish figure at left back for Arsenal. Bardsley forcing Steve Terry to go back. He did well. Was well played forward again by Sanson. Nicholas. Talbot again up with the attack, but again Rostron for Watford. Davis finding Talbot. Here's Stuart Robson. And Anderson. And Taylor for Watford. Callaghan is in space. Sinnott is going forward at the rate of knots. And also Riley. Johnston also on a forward run. Here's Callaghan going all the way himself. Riley was unmarked for one, and I suspect Sinnott for two. No wonder Mr. Jennings had a word or two with his defenders. You wonder whether a square cross from Callaghan might have done the job rather better. Certainly Watford in this first 18 minutes or so of the second half have created far more than they did in almost the entire first half. But they won't settle for 2-2, they'll go forward. And rest assured of that. Here's Taylor, Johnston and Riley. And again the flag was up. Terry forward. He finds Barnes, who's tackled by Anderson. Jacket, Johnston. Now Barnes in space in that outside left position. Riley and Johnston arriving for the cross. It was also Callaghan who came in, and Sanson doing the safest thing. Even if it is at the expense of a corner. Whilst he's clearly fit, John Barnes not seen much of the ball, and when he has, he's been well policed by Anderson. Robson's clearance of the corner. Callaghan can knock it in again, and it might fall for Les Taylor, who joined the attack. Away finally to safety. Rostron will take the throw. Barnes. Rostron, Barnes again, and he was taken by Talbot, and I have a feeling he felt that. Mr. Napthine will settle for a few words with Brian Talbot, and John Barnes clearly in some distress. John Barnes very anxious to certainly see 90 minutes out here, with Bobby Robson due to announce his squad next week. He doesn't want to run the risk of missing out through injury. And he happily restored. Comes the free kick. Doesn't really make where it wanted. Here's Jacket. And Davis for Sinnott. Taylor only into Mariner's path, and now a long chase is on between Sinnott and Woodcock. Sinnott's won that one quite comfortably, and he'll try perhaps and clear downfield again, and does. That's not into Mo Johnston's path where he clearly wanted it. Woodcock, Nicholas inside him. Sanson going forward again. He's gone inside the 18-yard box. He loves to go forward. Nicholas is cross. Woodcock. Sherwood does well. And I thought Woodcock might have taken advantage as Sherwood came to close him down again. But it goes behind and the danger is over. Tony Woodcock shown his sharpness in the first half when he made Sherwood pay, and he very nearly did so again. Riley, here's Les Taylor, forward for Jacket. Caton, who in many ways reminds the Arsenal folk, I suspect, of Willie Young. Trying to play it forward, but Steve Terry in first, well ahead of Paul Mariner. Nicholas aimed for Davis, but Bardsley for Watford for Johnston. And O'Leary goes across all the way. Mo Johnston certainly in the second half has proved something of a handful for the Arsenal defence rather, and just begin to wonder quite how much of a handful he and Luther Blissett alongside him might be. And in the meanwhile, Lee Sinnott will demonstrate that the Watford tradition of long throws lives on after Mr. Garner, Mr. Sims and Mr. Terry. He's arguably got the longest of the lot, and he wins a corner. Riley goes up and doesn't claim. Jacket looking for Barnes. Riley's turn on, a marvellous save. A marvellous save from Jennings, just as it looked as though Riley had finally got it again. Well, they say that the word veteran is appropriate to Jennings. He's starting his 21st season in football with 105 caps for his country, but he looks as agile and alert as ever. Here's Barnes though from the corner, and he's wasted it. I think no play on, says the referee. Just though it had gone. Callahan. Bardsley. And Anderson for Forest. Talbot. Nicholas. Sanson. Nicholas again. Steve Terry a long way forward for Watford, but that's an Arsenal ball. Just as it seemed, certainly in the early part of the second half, it was all Watford. Arsenal now trying to wear down this Watford onslaught, trying to get some sort of, well, I suppose the word composed play back into it. And more important than that, I think they would really fancy their chances if they could get one more of hanging on to it. Sanson. Good stuff to watch though for the fans. Plenty of entertainment at both ends. Sanson for Arsenal. Davis. Nicholas. Davis. And he's lost out to John Barnes. And Mo Johnston is free. And he looked to be held back by David O'Leary. Play on, says the referee. Good advantage as Johnson had possession. Callahan. Jacket forward. Johnston, Riley square. Les Taylor coming to support as well. And he went himself. And once again, you wonder about possibly another player in a better position. They do now anyway. Rostron for Riley. Here's Rostron again. Rostron. Johnston for Barnes. And still they come forward. That's Les Taylor's effort. Well, it's a tremendous fight back, you have to say, by Watford, because they looked at half-time as though they could be out in the second half to make their numbers up. But they really proved everybody wrong. Now Nicholas. Seeing himself up. Oh, what a smasher. And suddenly it's Arsenal back in front. Charlie Nicholas the scorer. Sweet right foot blast. Steve Sherwood dived, couldn't get it. 72 minutes and Arsenal are back in front. With one of Arsenal's very few attacks in the second half, but perhaps Watford have paid for trying to go for the third goal and pushing players forward and being caught on a break by Nicholas. It's 3-2 and Watford still have it all to do. Callahan always looks so casual on the ball, Callahan, but a marvellous skillful player. Bardsley losing to Woodcock. Nicholas inside him. He really has had an inspired game in this role behind the front two. Now Mariner on to chase. Talbot in the middle. Will he find him? He might find him and does find him, and that has got to go down as a goalkeeping cum centre-half error, I would have thought, because he had the header, he got in ahead of Rostron, and more important than that, Steve Sherwood, I think, misjudged the bounce of where it would have gone from his head. And it's 4-2 and Arsenal strike twice in a minute. And then one of the fans from North London are happy. But Johnston will try and get Watford back. Really marvellous entertainment this second half. It's end to end, it's fluctuating stuff. Nicholas. Well, there'd be no question if they got another Arsenal. And Graham Taylor's response to that second one going in is fairly immediate. I suspect Mr. Blissett will shortly appear on the scene. Here's Barnes. Question is, who will Graham Taylor take off? Barnes still going forward. Callahan. Taylor's got space inside him if he wants him. And it was only in for Anderson to knock away. Bardsley. And again, Riley. Barnes inside him, but he's surely not going to get around both of them. O'Leary finally the man who gets possession, and Caton's clearance is out. An interesting question which must be going through Graham Taylor's mind. That's Blissett put a fifth forward on, but will he take off perhaps one of the midfielders or even either Rostron or Bardsley? Here's Barnes, and a waste by the Watford outside left. And his right foot, perhaps not had his best game, certainly by his own high standards, John Barnes. But as those who have read the match programme will have seen, a photograph of a goal he scored against Brazil in the summer. Barnes' standards are somewhat higher than many others. And indeed it's Bardsley, the man who's going off to make way for Luther Blissett, and so now Watford will line up with 5 forwards. It's win or bust for Graham Taylor, and I suppose 4-2 down at home, few can blame him. And Blissett has just about 14 minutes in which to make a mark. And Callahan is on the ball for Watford, and still he's on the ball, he goes down, and Anderson came across him, but Mr. Napthine not interested. I would have thought Callahan was a clumsy challenge. I don't think it was that desperate, and he went down, but the referee certainly wasn't giving it. Here's Sinnott, and he clearly was taken from behind, and not best pleased by Brian Talbot's effort either. And that's twice he's escaped with a lecture, because it was he involved in the challenge with Barnes earlier, at which the referee felt that discretion was the better part of the notebook. Callahan's free kick. Riley, it's up for Blissett to come in, and Anderson forced to put it behind again. And Blissett perhaps will add a bit more height in the box as well. He went up for it. Jennings went up for it as well, didn't get it. Here's Barnes. And it's that man Nicholas again back helping his defence. He's been everywhere this afternoon. Barnes. Callahan short. Barnes trying to turn and get himself into a position for a cross. He wins the throw. Riley. He'll turn, and Les Taylor almost in a shooting position for Watford, and Arsenal can come away with Nicholas. Really all action stuff. And I suspect the crowd haven't seen such good entertainment for a long time. Here's Barnes. Johnston. Robson finds Nicholas for Arsenal, and they're off again, but they find Lee Sinnott well capable of getting to it before Woodcock. Riley up. Here's Callahan, but he won't get there, but he will win the throw. Callahan again, but losing out. Here's Kenny Sanson now for Arsenal. And we're surely not going to be playing I can get it in the corner flag before you can. No, he wins the throw anyway off Callahan. As we move into the last 10 minutes. And in view of what's already happened out there, is there going to be time for yet one more twist in a quite amazing saga? Here's Terry. Forward for Les Taylor. Riley. And Blissett now. Will he make something of this? No, he won't, because Brian Talbot really been a workhorse in the middle. Back to make sure that his defenders and goalkeeper weren't exposed. And even 4-2 up, Mr. Howe getting a little agitato on the Arsenal bench. It's an important time for Arsenal. Looking for their first win. They play Newcastle at home on Tuesday, and then they face the mighty Liverpool also at Highbury. It's a long one, which Jennings will come under pressure from Riley, who in turn was under pressure from Mr. Caton. So it's a Watford corner. And again the big men go up. Blissett, Taylor and Riley all in the 6-yard box. Might come for Blissett and Barnes to turn and try one. Callahan must put it back in and does. Barnes, Taylor, Riley up against Caton, and Riley won it, but Caton did just about enough to put him off. And clearly Will Frostron holding Tony Woodcock. Little bit of professionalism creeping in from the Watford skipper. He'll fight to the end. Nicholas, more pressure on Watford as he goes forward. Johnston finds Blissett, but Anderson first to it again. Robson. Woodcock to chase against Will Frostron, who didn't like, and Woodcock not too keen with the decision of the referee that he was holding the diminutive Watford captain. Now Riley, now Blissett, a chance on here. And David O'Leary did enough. 8 minutes. Watford 2, Arsenal 4. Jacket, Barnes. And he's got himself lined for the cross this time. It's gone on from Jacket away to the far side. Now Barnes. Jackett's going outside him, but he's going infield. Callahan. Sanson stuck so close to him now. Nicholas. Really been Arsenal's hero. On a tremendous afternoon for football. Sinnott. Jacket. Callahan. Riley's knocked it back, and the shot from Taylor. And one hopes there's no question of an element of frustration, because Watford have fought all the way, battled hard. Just those 2 moments when they pushed perhaps one too many player forward in the second half, and they've been made to pay for it. Nicholas again. And Mariner, but that's Sherwood's. With some ease. That's another corner. Jacket. Callahan. Still they go forward. They won't be denied, and they win another free kick. And that, I suspect, just like the one in the first half, was not that far away from being inside. Barnes is over it. And a tremendous knock from Jennings again. And for a veteran, he hasn't half played well. Callahan. Pressure to the last from Watford. This time he'll get another free kick. Callahan over it. All the heavies again up. And this time it was over from Riley. Really, I think he's got the message. There was considerable disappointment in some of his form pre-season, but George Riley again this afternoon showing that last year's performance was no flash in the pan whatever. Davis. Rostron for Watford, but Nicholas again in there. He's really been everywhere this afternoon. And 2 minutes is surely now pretty close to too little for Watford. But it has been splendid entertainment. However else one may feel. Here's Sinnott's long throw. He got time to knock it back in. Taylor. And again Sinnott. Well, he was loitering with intent in the other half of the field, but the cross not quite what was wanted. And so less than 60 seconds on the watch. And Watford en route to their first home defeat of the season. But 21,000 odd supporters en route to a real winner because they watched a superb game of football. Now Woodcock for Arsenal. Nicholas. And Sherwood did well and he held on to it well. And when he dropped in the first half, he was made to pay for because Woodcock followed up to score. Not this time though. Now Caton for Arsenal. I think anybody's got any idea where that's gone. Blissett going with a header. And going past the post with it. Graham Taylor said that Luther would want a few games under his belt. And I suspect he's feeling better and better as the games go on. Not that a goal or two wouldn't help along the way. Terry's header. And O'Leary for Arsenal. The flag is up, and on the watch, 45 minutes are up. So we are playing the time docked for injuries and the odd stoppage, particularly that injury to John Barnes. So this could well be Watford's last attack. Riley, and it's gone for a corner off Robson. And Blissett will take it. And that's his first goal since he came back. But surely it's come too late. Almost a minute over the 90. But if it has, it's perhaps given Watford some sort of justice to the overall proceedings, insofar as that they only trail by one, and there can't be more than about 20 seconds, I suppose, left for play. I thought they might do that all the way back. For Arsenal now, it's a question of hang on, and I don't think perhaps there is time for Watford to launch another onslaught. No, there is not, because the referee says that's it. And so it's Arsenal that take the points. They win by 4-3, but they win a match that will be remembered for a long time. No bookings, a lot of good football, a lot of entertainment, and the men that stand out, Charlie Nicholas with his 2 goals, and Mo Johnston, who scored one and had another marvellous one just disallowed. Watford 3, Arsenal 4.